Okay, hi, I'm back. Okay, I have your questions now. Technology is working for us. Okay, so the first question. No, it just went away, of course. Oh my God. Okay, so one of the questions is, how do I know what to post more spontaneously in stories and what should be planned content? Fucking awesome question. So I would say a multitude of these things. I usually like to do more of the heating people up and buying region into stories, because you got to think about stories in the sense like these hooks is what's bringing people in. You know, like this is like first date territory, you know, you just met them. This, when you're heating them up, is when you're getting to know them. That's when you do the stories. That's when you're talking more about the details. You have more time, right? People aren't going to necessarily share it, but that's when they get to understand things like, oh, okay, so this is, you know, this is more details. This is for the people who need data, who need some feelings, these things where you are going to really connect with them, and you're going to say things like, hey, you know, this is all the topics we're going to hit in the program, or these are all the things that we're going to go over, or this is what's included, or these are the difference between two different programs, that kind of stuff. That's when you're going to hit that in the stories. And what I like to do is I like to make a post that's in like this, like luring people in thing. And then in that same, theme, the same theme, like the same content pillar, that's when I'm going to go onto the stories and I'm going to explain it a little bit more. So I can, with one post, because I write the post and then I'm thinking about it, and then I go on stories and I talk about it a little bit more and I'm explaining it, and then I have the link to buy. You can do all three of these things by just doing a post or a reel and then talking about it on stories. So you share it to the story and then you go in and you explain it more, and you can get all of these things in here. So the stories obviously disappear. So if a brand new person is showing up and you don't have anything on your stories, or maybe you were talking about something else, you want to make sure that the static content, like the content that stays, is still hitting all of the content pillars and this whole sequence. So you got to have, you can't only talk about details and objections inside of stories. You have to have it somewhere else. So the highlights are really good for this on Instagram. If you're on TikTok doing like a series where you're like part 1, part 2, part 3, and then that really like gets people to watch more and you're explaining something deeper, you can do that same thing with reels. Like if you have a new program and you want to talk about it, like in the description of it, say part 1, part 2, part 3, so that people go through and like binge your content. That also gets your views up so that people see more stuff. Let me know if that answered your question. And yes, sorry, the cat was crying. Okay, I can't see all of them. Okay, you're talking about it shifting. That is super, super good. Here, let's talk about this. Let's get more of these comments. Okay, so, all right, it's helping your brain already. I'm so, so glad to hear this. Okay. Yeah, so one of the comments was, folks think my content is fire, but then there's little sales. So that's how you know that you are doing this seduction part really well, but you need to do more this, and that you're talking to your ideal client properly. Because if you're not talking exactly to your ideal client, then you're bringing, even if you bring in more people, it's not helpful. I find this all the time with people who are wanting to go viral. I'm like, okay, but why are you wanting to go viral? Like, that's cool if it's one of your goals, but think it through. Because if you're only wanting to go viral to like get, you know, more people to your page, are you getting the right people to your page? I have this, like every time I post about pride or something like that, I get a shit ton of views, but mostly it's bots or people who are arguing with me, which aren't my ideal client. So yes, I do some of those posts to bring people in and also to show people who I am, right? In like the who I am section, it matters a lot to me. And even if it's not going to make the sale, it still is helpful because it's actually showing people who I am, what my values are. You know, it goes with this content pillar of authenticity being key, all of these things. But that's why we need a selection of different things, right? We need the seduction posts, we need the heating up posts, and we need the buying posts. Yes, it helps to remove that. You're right. Now I have to actually focus when I go to create posts. Okay, so this also, because I know that I tend to attract very neurospicy people into my life. I also happen to have made some of them, my children. But I know what it's like to be able to like ping pong between things and not be able to focus. If you have this framework, then as soon as your brain is ready to hyper focus, you're gonna fucking fly, right? So maybe for you, it's not ovulation time versus PMS time. Like that's the biggest factor for me. Maybe yours is, am I in paralysis or am I in like hyper focus mode, right? Those maybe are your modes. So when you're in paralysis and you need to post, you go to this and you say, okay, well, now I know what to post. I can make my body do it. But when you're in hyper focus mode, all this shit's been planned, so you can go and probably make 50 pieces of fucking content. And then if you label them correctly, then paralysis, you can just like post them, right? Maybe you have a Dropbox folder and you have them all organized like this and you just plop them in when you know it's time. However you want to organize your life. The cat, oh my God, hold on. You, stop that. Get a kitten, they said. It would be cute. It's very, very cute, but it's really annoying. Okay. All right, next one's planning with your period. Yes, for me, this has been huge for me, is planning along with my cycle and just knowing myself better. Like the more I know myself, and this really works into the who are you, the more that you, the more you know yourself, the better all of this is going to go because you know how you work and you also know what matters to you. All of this, like digging into your why is so fucking important. Like that's why the entire first part of Powerful Personal Brand is all about this because it's the actual base of all of this stuff. Okay, so when you're getting the new people in your space era, how do you keep yourself pumped? Great question. You are definitely mixing, this is backwards. You're mixing this all up together. So you're not only, like, I understand what you mean by era, but you're not only getting people in all the time. I love to make the punchy stuff, the bringing people in when I'm feeling good. And then like when I'm batching content, yes, batching and scheduling is so helpful for this stuff. And then you can, you know, when you're feeling up to it and excited and alive, then that's when you make those kinds of content. Because again, with knowing who you are, if you can't like realistically be actually excited to bring new people in, it's going to show in your content, right? And this is why when people are feeling like really discouraged about their brand or stuff like that, it's super hard to make content. And I understand this very, very much. But this is why I created this framework so that on the days when I'm feeling shitty or even weeks when I'm feeling shitty, I have stuff to pull from, right? Like I have a shit ton of B-roll footage that I can put all of this stuff over. So if I don't really want to physically show up like in real life, like face to face with people for a period of time, I still can hit all of these things, right? So maybe you had a photo shoot a month ago and you're like, okay, right now I'm just really not feeling it. I'm going through a hard time. Something happened with my family. You have that stuff pre-made so you can start to fill it in. So when you have a week or like maybe right after this, when you're excited, you have all these ideas, go fucking turn off your distractions and make some fucking content and have a whole bunch. That way you can hit all of these things and you can do all of this when you're not really feeling it. I hate this rhetoric when people are like, consistency is only if you're showing up 100% every day. And I call bullshit on that. Bullshit. And I am the queen of talking about consistency. You know that. Listen to my podcast. I talk about it all the fucking time. What I think consistency is showing up the way yourself and your body needs every day, no matter what. So this, like earlier this week, I felt like I was going to get sick. I didn't, thank fuck, because I rested. Whereas previously I would have been like, push through, do more shit. You know, like all of this like weird, yucky feelings where you just like force yourself to do shit and then it comes off cringy and then you get really sick or you get really tired and then it all looks a mess. The more you know yourself and the more you plan for this, the better it's going to go. Oh, some comments about the kitty cat. Perfect. Okay, I think this is all of the questions from before. If you have some more, pop them in. I would love to see them. And if you are, if you come up with more questions when you're watching the replay, pop them in and I will answer them for the group so that you can get all these questions answered, because I know not everybody can make it live. I hope that this helped. I'm going to take a picture of this entire framework setup here, and I'm going to put it in the group so that you can directly copy it. And when you are feeling stuck or like, fuck, like, I don't know where I'm going with this, come back to this. Come back to it over and over and over again, because literally you don't need something else than this. You don't need more strategy. You don't need more of anything. You just need to follow this fucking plan. Just follow the plan and you'll do it. Thank you so much for joining me live. I always love doing a live masterclass. It's so fun seeing all your little comments popping up. Yes. Okay. I'm glad that this was helpful. Oh, great. And yes, so Brand Foundations, you're in it. Please, please make the most of it for your 1 month. No hard feelings if you're like, I'm outie by the end of the month, but get into it. Really, really maximize this space. Use it to the absolute most that you can, so that you can actually feel like, what is this actually like? What is it actually like to commit to actually growing my business? So if you have questions, send me a DM. You know I'm here to answer them. And also later on, I'm going to be announcing what what next month's theme is, and then you will know ahead of time what it is, because every single month we do a masterclass. Sometimes they're live, sometimes they're recorded, sometimes it's a challenge. I love me a challenge, and those are always really, really good. The themes are always around branding, social media, and marketing your business. So I'm so glad you're here. Make sure that you take a screenshot of us doing this shit and share it. This is the gold, man. This is the gold. Okay, I will talk to all of you soon. Thank you so much for coming and listening to my cat cry and watch me struggle to make Facebook work, because you don't have to be an expert at everything, but you got to know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Bye.